Today was day 6, and we spent the day in the town of Arromanches, which was along Gold Beach, which was one of the British sectors. And the things that we saw at Arromanches today were a museum devoted to the construction of the artificial harbor that the British made to make sure that supplies kept coming to the troops who were fighting in Normandy from Britain. And then we were able to go on the beach and saw the remains of the artificial harbor. And we also went up to the cliffs and saw the German artillery stations and coastal guns that they were using to defend the area. The main thing that really stuck out to me from today was the sheer scale and planning that had to go behind the construction of the artificial harbor. I mean, it was a massive undertaking. At the museum, we were able to watch a movie about it, and we saw some models and dioramas about it. And then when you look out the window and you see the actual space and the sheer scale of how big this was and how much work it took to create this artificial harbor in 10 days, to make sure that millions of tons of supplies are continually coming into the Allies throughout the entire rest of the campaign. I mean, it was really impressive. I mean, I came away feeling that what the engineers did to construct these harbors was more impressive than a lot of the fighting the troops did during D-Day and the Battle of Normandy itself. I mean, these engineers put together an artificial city on the water in under 2 weeks. Unfortunately, a huge storm came by a little while after and wiped out the American harbor that was over by Omaha Beach, but this one remained intact. And walking among the ruins of it and looking out in the water and seeing the breakwater that was constructed that's still there, it's just kind of mind-blowing. So as far as my project is concerned, I think that focusing on geography is going to be an important part of understanding the events that students will be getting into. I mean, I don't usually focus on geography that much when I teach, but I think being here on this trip is going to require changing that. Being in all these places, being in the geography and learning about its impact and seeing what it did and what people had to do to get around it. I mean, the construction of this artificial port because there was no other place available and the regular harbors were too heavily defended. It was really a really interesting thing to learn about. So I think studying the geography of a place, in addition to identifying the stories of people who were there and the artifacts that they had, is going to be a big key component of this. So I've got some initial ideas coming together now, and I'll put those up on the screen. So first, here are my main kind of notes of what I've got so far from this portion of the trip. I'll keep adding on to it as we go through the remaining days, but we're about halfway through now. So here are my main takeaways to this point, focusing on the people, the untold stories, the hidden gem artifacts, and the importance of the geography. And then next I'll put up the beginning stages of my plan for this unit or project. I think this is going to end up being some kind of an oral history project that's going to be designed to preserve the memories of something of people who experienced it. So I've got a number of ideas on that. You see that here. But it's really going to involve students selecting an event of some kind, identifying people who were around, experienced it, lived there, came after even, and gathering their recollections and putting those together in an interesting way. And really learning a lot through talking to those people and seeing what artifacts they have or know about and what it was like being there actually with the geography. So things are starting to take shape a little bit. I'm excited about that, but long way to go, and I'm sure I'll get a lot more ideas as the rest of the trip progresses. So thanks for watching, and tune in again tomorrow.